Just a few days after Spa, the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine moves to Italy and the Mugello circuit for the 5th round of the season, which will take us to the halfway point of the 2023 calendar. Leading the championship standings is Norwegian RHGP driver Martinius Stenshorn, followed closely by Italian Andrea Kimi Antonelli for Prema Racing, who is now just 5 points behind after securing his first win of the season in the last race at Spa. The Tuscan race is marked by mourning after the tragic passing of Delano Vanthoff in Belgium last Saturday. All drivers will run stickers on their cars as they go racing for Delano. The MP Motorsport team will not be present, having chosen to support the driver's family in the coming days. RPM's Adam Fitzgerald is also absent and will be for some time as he recovers from the injuries he sustained in the incident at Spa. The qualifying session for Group A this morning quickly heated up. Fresh from his win at Spa, it was Prema Racing's Rafael Camara who was amongst the first to go for a flying lap. Then came RHGP teammates Stenshorn and Tim Tramnitz. The battle among the top 6 drivers in the first group intense as ever as they all continued to improve their fastest laps from sector to sector on the Tuscan track. As is usually the case, pole position was then decided on the last lap when Stenshorn secured the advantage with a lap time of a 1 minute 42.305 seconds, followed by just 0.02 of a second by long-time session leader Tim Tramnitz. Maya Ver claimed an impressive third position right at the end of the session, finishing just half a second behind. The Ferrari Junior has recently come into form, putting her KIC Motorsport car on the podium this year with a rookie win and 6th place overall at Spa. Josh Dufek, the Swiss driver from Van Amersfoort Racing, finished the session in 4th place with a gap of just over 6.5 tenths, and completing the top 5 in Group A would be Trident's Roman Bielinski, the young Polish star, finishing just under 0.7 of a second back. Group B took to the track next with a time of a 1 minute 42.305 to beat, set by championship leader Stenshorn. After a steady start, the second session soon burst into life, with the first hot laps coming in the second half of the 15-minute session. Among the early leaders was Santiago Ramos from RPM, followed by Imola race winner Kaz Haverkort from Van Amersfoort Racing. Next came Andrea Kimi Antonelli, taking the lead of the group after continuous improvements, eventually setting the fastest time of the group with a 1 minute 42.422 seconds. An exceptional lap, but not enough to take overall pole position away from Stenshorn. Haverkort finished the session in 2nd place, just 1.5 tenths of a second behind, followed by Trident's Owen Tangavelu with a gap of just under 3.5 tenths. Prema Racing's Lorenzo Flusha secured 4th place and was just 0.03 of a second behind Tangavelu. Then came Santiago Ramos, who closed the qualifying session in 5th place in the group and was just 0.04 of a second back from Lorenzo Flusha.
Well, yeah, it was really good qualifying. So far the season has been really good. It was really close between me and Tim today in the qualifying, but yeah, the car was on fire, so really happy.
A few hours later, it is time for the first race of the weekend. Before the start of the race, the Mugello circuit falls silent as we all unite in remembering Delano Vanthoff.
Many of the drivers out here on track racing for a comrade. That driver, Delano Vanthoff, of course, being celebrated, celebration of life here at the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. And our deepest sympathies are with that of his friends, his family, and the MP Motorsport team who do not join us here in Tuscany. We will, of course, be observing a minute of silence here for Delano Vanthoff as we move through the weekend, and that will, of course, start today. we have it, folks, a community in unison, obviously off the back of the tragedy, but naturally, we as a motorsport community, we are a community. We stand by, of course, the friends and family. Thoughts are with Delano. This race weekend is for Delano. Safety car now lining up. The marshals now picking up the green flags, and we'll await the lights to go red here at Mugello. Here they go. First light, second light, third light, fourth light, and the fifth light. And it's pedal to the metal, and it is go, 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 go. Certainly away already. It is going to be Martini Stenchon with a great start as well. Kaz Havercourt getting off the line relatively quickly too. They all run side by side, heading down through towards turn one. Obviously, then they have to certainly plan their braking points. You can see Tim Tramnitz just down the inside, as well as Kimi Antonelli. Certainly splits the difference between that of the Van Amersfoort and that of Tim Tramnitz's R-Race GP as well. But Antonelli holds on to second. Kaz Havercourt having to remain behind Tramnitz, as well as two Premers. They're going to try and get themselves into the mix as well. That being, of course, Flusha and Kamara. A car dipping into the gravel further back as well. Kamara now, who's not far away from his teammate, might have an opportunity here, as we now see Flusha look to try and dial in on Maya Verk, who's got to try now and defend against the approach of the Prema, but it's going to be a little bit too much to deal with, and certainly straight away jumping up ahead is Lorenzo Flusha, and he moves up into sixth. Oh, there's a car off as well, and that is Kirill Smal as well, representing the Monolite team. Oh, it's collision with Joshua Dirksen, the Paraguayan, just meeting that of Kirill Smal. Fascinating moment, but we go and put pedal to the metal for the second time in this race, and Stenchon still with the lead advantage. The two Premers going side by side as well, heading down through towards turn one. That's Kamara and Flusha further back as well, as they head down now towards that first corner. You see their RPM also with cars side by side as they hurtle through towards turn one, heading out towards turn two, heading out now San Donato in towards Lusso as well. And there you see them once again. Certainly Antonelli managing to hold on to that second place. Still the Premers are battling with each other. There is Dirksen as well. A car has gone off into the gravel trap. Not quite sure who that is, just overextending as they make their way down through towards the final portions of this circuit, coming out of Biondetti 1 and Biondetti 2. The Bucine corner comes up next, and Martini Stenchon, who went fastest in free practice 1 and free practice 2, followed it up with a stellar qualifying. He's now going to make his way up towards the line and take victory here in race 1 here in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. The first race in the Mugello weekend here in round 5. Andrea Kimi Antonelli in second, Tim Tramnitz in third.
Race 1 sees an amazing season continue for Stenchon, who adds a 4th win to his tally. Antonelli keeps himself close in the fight for the title with an impressive 2nd and 5th podium of the season, whilst Tramnitz gets a 5th podium to keep himself in the title fight and further help the R-Race GP team to remain at the top of the team standings.
Yeah, for sure the qualifying is really important, and as well, yeah, tire management in the race is also really important to be able to go through the whole race fast. Well, there's nothing new. We just do what we normally do, just a bit more on this track because of the tire wear. But yeah, we just kept our head down and kept pushing anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Mugello, especially with this temperature, is really hard, especially in the tires. So the key was to, manage a bit the tires. I think in the first half of the race, we were going really well. I was catching a little bit, and then the safety car came out, luckily. And yeah, I think I lost a lot of temperature in the tire because I didn't warm them up in the last lap under safety car. So yeah, then I was really struggling with the car. But yeah, we need to keep working, and I think if we keep working like this, tomorrow we can get a better result.
I think the heat was really difficult today, to be honest. I think it was really hard for everyone. It was really important to save the tires. Yeah, and to make them last to the end is really difficult. And in the end, you lose quite a lot of grip on both axles, just because of the high-speed corners and, of course, because of the heat. So, yeah, in the end, I'm happy with the podium.
With Sunday came further opportunities for drivers to score points at the Mugello circuit as the second qualifying session of the weekend quickly got underway, which would set the grid for the final race of the weekend. It's Group B that takes to the track first this time, and Havercourt was among the early leaders of the session, but would later be beaten by Ramos. It was then the turn of Antonelli, who set the new fastest lap and continued to improve until the end of the session as the track temperature grew lap after lap. After continuous improvement, Antonelli set his best lap time towards the end of the session with a 1 minute 42.650 on the board for the Bologna driver. Havercourt finished in P2, also improving his time on the final lap with a gap of just under 0.2 of a second to Antonelli. Ramos secured third place with a gap of just over 0.4 of a second, while Owen Tangarello is next in fourth place with a gap of just under half a second. Behind him, his Trident teammate Nicol Bora finishing in fifth place with a gap of just over half a second. Now with half the lap times on the board, it's the turn of the Group A drivers, who take to the track as they look to beat Antonelli's best lap. Brazilian driver Camara is among the first leaders, but his lead soon relinquished to Bielinski and later to the Frenchman Maceo Capietto. Capietto's impressive time kept him at the top for most of the session, but in the final minute, Camara hit back as he set the fastest time of the group with a 1 minute 42.667. Although not enough to secure overall pole position, it gave Prema Racing a front row lockout for race 2. Second place in Group A goes to Stenshorn, who set his best lap time in the final stages with a gap of just 61 thousandths of a second. Capietto is third with a gap of just under 0.2 of a second. Fourth position goes to Dufek with a gap of just under 2.5 tenths. Then comes Tramnitz to round out the top 5 with a gap of just over 2.5 tenths of a second from Camara in a very closely contested session. It means once again and unusually the pole position is set by the group to take to the track first.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really good quali. Track was a lot slippery, very slippery compared to yesterday. And yeah, I mean, we did a massive step from yesterday, I think, in terms of some driving and also with the car. The team did a mega job. And yeah, to be in pole is really good feeling. And hopefully we can close the day really well.
And here it comes, green flag being waved. Here come those lights now. Second light, third light, fourth light, and the fifth light. And it's pedal to the metal, and it is go, 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 go. Andrea Kimi Antonelli getting a good start, so does Rafael Camara, cuts in behind his teammates as well. Martini Stenshorn also getting a nice run too, but Camara instantly challenging Antonelli as they head down through towards turn 1 now. It's still currently Antonelli out in front. Camara still trying around the outside as they enter San Donato curve at turn 1. It's still Antonelli who leads. Look at the 2 RPMs now as well. Look at Rafael Camara, who's trying to get himself into the mix too. Gets alongside Kaz Havercourt, launches himself up to 4th place. Havercourt losing 2 places at the get-go here. Stenshorn now up to 3rd as well. Ramos, should I say, it wasn't Capietto at all. Ramos getting the launch that he was looking for. 4th place there for RPM and looking very strong indeed. Kaz Havercourt looking for that move too. You can see there Capietto in behind that of the Van Amersfoort car, just sitting in behind as they run side by side through the slalom section. Of course, making their way through Casanova into Cervelli and Arrabbiata 1 before then climbing up through Arrabbiata 2. This double right-hander kind of delayed, and certainly the drivers need to pinpoint with precision here as to get their car around this sequence of bends. Now we're seeing yet more jostling for places, as well as Roman Bielinski comes under a little bit of pressure as Michael Belov losing out to Joshua Dufek in that instant scrap too. The Van Amersfoort team, who have been very, very fast this weekend, have shown a great level of pace. In fact, Joshua Dufek was actually 3rd fastest in free practice 1 earlier on in the weekend, and once again now getting himself up into the top 10 as well. So a fantastic move from him. Antonelli still out in front, Camara in 2nd, Stenshorn, leading rookie, 3rd place, looking to bid to become a podium sitter yet again, as we're now seeing a very tight line there from the what looks to be the Trident car. Roman Belinsky looking every which way. He runs a little wide, though, off the track, and certainly that will place him at a disadvantage. Is there wing damage on the car? There is. Belinsky with front wing damage, and he's lost a deal of traction. There's certainly what looks to be, yes, the front wing is missing. So Belinsky with damage to his front nose cone, and he's now operating without a front wing, and all the cars now going past at this point. Heartbreak for Belinsky. This next sequence of curves, oh, there's a car off, and into the gravel trap as well, and into the wall. Suspension damage, definitely apparent. I can't quite see which one that is. And there's the front wing belonging to that of Roman Belinsky. The marshals clearing up the debris, but a car going off. And certainly, oh, it is car number 21. Oh, that's heartbreak. I believe that might be Kirill Smol. It is Kirill Smol, and he's not alone as well. Because look at that, there's a Van Amersfoort car buried in the tyre barrier as well. So that's another car gone off. That's Niels Koolin, of course, representing the Van Amersfoort team that's gone off there as well. So Koolin and Smol both evicted out of the race, and yellow flags are being waved. Safety car has been released, folks, so there we have it. The safety car is now out. Restart earlier on, the green flag's waving, it's pedal to the metal for the second time in this race now. Kamara in behind him too as well. A very orderly start by many, but a car certainly looking to make moves here as Tangavellu comes under fire from Tim Tramnitz further back as well. And take a look at Kaz Havercourt, who instantly looks to try and take the advantage too. Tramnitz, though, with a stellar switchback, moves his way up the order as well and looks to fight. There you see Kaz Havercourt as well, trying to pinch and poke around Santiago Ramos as they head through the first sector, and heading through Luco and Poggio Secco corners. They now rise up through towards the Materazzi section, dip down in towards the next left as well. Still challenging as we're now seeing side-by-side action yet again. I think that might be Josh Dufek, who's now coming under pressure from Lorenzo Flusha in behind as well. Giusti gains a place as well. And here's the replay. This was the moment, and certainly a stellar move as well from Josh Dufek to keep Flusha. Oh, they bash wheels. Oh, okay, we didn't see that on the broadcast, and certainly Flusha, as a result of that contact, has found his way into the grass. Third of the championship, and there's another car off as well, and if I'm not mistaken, that's Maya Verk who's off. Maya Verk off in the gravel trap, and the Cinderella story that has been on the go since last weekend has unfortunately ended up in the gravel trap here in race 2. Maya Verk, unfortunately, but now in the gravel trap, and safety car procedure now underway here at Tuscany for the second time in this race, as once again they go ahead and put pedal to the metal for the third time in this race now as well. And just look at the RPM cars getting a lovely launch too. Green flags being waved by everyone here on the side of the circuit as we're now seeing them once again come together. Matteo Capietto trying to charge here on Kaz Havercourt. Santiago Ramos also going side by side with Martini Estenchon. A battle for the podium places. Rafael Camara also in the mix to this as they go late braking into San Donato, and it is still going to be Stenchon who holds on to third. But a great launch, a great charge there from both RPM cars. And I can tell you this, the Matteo Capietto has in fact launched onwards. And oh, dearie me, Lorenzo Flusha off into the gravel trap. Another, certainly a Prema car out of the race. And again, we lose one. Of course, we didn't really have this many cars go out in race 1, but certainly here, missing the likes of Maya Verk and also Kirill Smol, Niels Koolin. But now to join them, it's Lorenzo Flusha, and the safety car is back out again here. And unfortunately for Lorenzo Flusha, that's his day done, and no points will be scored here in this round for him. And Andrea Kimi Antonelli will once again have to bring his car down into Delta. Now, this is the replay, and we witnessed side-by-side action and a bit of contact as well. Now, was that with Josh Dufek? I think it was. Dufek reduced to 25th, so yes, it was him. There's Dufek hopping out of the car. Now, that's not a good sign. Looks like it could be another retirement, and it certainly is. Josh Dufek retiring from the race here at Tuscany. Van Amersfoort losing 2 cars here in this final race of the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine weekend, and the safety car will take them round still. Currently sat in P1, holding his own. Rafael Camara in behind as well as he now puts the pedal to the floor. Round boost seen at turn 15 once again, and it will be the final time as well. Cars going side by side on the exit, but certainly as they put pedal to the metal now, for the third time in this race now, we're currently seeing Stenshorn coming under pressure, because in comes Santiago Ramos, RPM, with a little taste for some extra points here. And already we're seeing Kaz Havercourt trying to raise up and certainly try and challenge up at the sharp end as well. Stenshorn going massively defensive against the onslaught from 2 RPM cars that are now looking to challenge. Capietto trying to challenge Santiago Ramos. In comes Kaz Havercourt, who goes round the outside as they head through the first sector. It's Havercourt. Havercourt now moves up into 5th place ahead of Matteo Capietto and is now looking to chase. Capietto not yet done though. Looks to the outside as they head through towards the next lap, but Havercourt now holds on to the advantage there as well, managing to secure that 5th place here on the final lap of racing. And certainly Van Amersfoort can celebrate at least something for Havercourt to add to the locker after the devastation of losing 2 cars in this race alone. But Andrea Kimi Antonelli, what a weekend it has been. Certainly busy up at the sharp end, but I tell you what, the battle for the podiums is not yet over. And look at this, Ramos around the outside now as they make their way down through towards the Bucine corner. Last gasp moments here in the race now as Andrea Kimi Antonelli rounds the final corner. He's going to be 1 time, but not just 1 time, it's 2 times a race winner here for Andrea Kimi Antonelli. He wins here at Mugello. Oh, goodness me, a huge crash across the line as Martinius Stenshorn and Santiago Ramos were battling through towards the checkered flag. Yellow flags being raised and the car's being brought to a standstill. Antonelli is the race winner. Kamara in second. Stenshorn and Ramos coming together across the line. According to the timing screen, Stenshorn was the man to cross it first. And there's the 2 drivers. Martinius Stenshorn steps out of the car with Ramos alongside him too. Good to see that both drivers are obviously okay as well. And Stenshorn looks to take his gloves off at this point. There's Joshua Dirksen as well. We didn't see him go off whatsoever, but in the gravel trap had a little bit of a moment as well. Looks like Roman Belinsky was around the outside as well. Let's do the switchback. Dirksen went mega defensive, but yeah, not an intervention from Belinsky at all. That's Dirksen. Unfortunately, he just dipped his toes in the gravel and pivoted the car. Stenshorn and Ramos then coming together. In fact, Dirksen went off in the background during when all this was taking place. But great to see all the drivers out of the car okay.
An uncontested win in the end and a 2nd of the season for Andrea Kimi Antonelli, who has now reduced the gap to Stenshorn down to just 2 points. At the halfway point of the season, the fight at the top of the standings is now more alive than ever in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. With the team, we did a mega job with the car. We improved a lot from yesterday. And yeah, everything was working really well today in quali and race as well. And yeah, I mean, conditions were a bit more difficult because temperature was hotter. But I think we managed everything really well, even with the safety car, which was not easy because with 3 safety car I had to change the restart every time, but I think we managed it really well. And yeah, for that I want to thank all my team, my fans, my family, and yeah, see you next time.
Yeah, I think it was really good recovery compared yesterday. Yesterday we were a bit off the pace, and then today we're good to do a really good progress. I think we managed well to walk in, look at data, everything, and come back stronger for today. And yeah, I think we missed a bit the pace of the race, but anyways, I think it was a good result for the championship. I think the most important is keep doing points, and every time they're on the top. So I think we're back where the place we must be, and yeah, I just can't wait to go back on track and fight again for more victories or more podiums.
The wait to see the championship in action again is not a long one. The series, co-managed by Alpine and ACI Sport, will be back in action for round 6 of the season at the Paul Ricard circuit in France on the weekend of the 23rd of July, which will be the last event before the summer break. We will see you there.